This is the Lost Man podcast, where we embrace the challenges and triumphs of being a modern man in the middle years. Join us as we explore the rugged path of growing older, wiser and bolder in a world that's constantly changing. I'm your host John.
And I'm Matt, and together we'll navigate this uncharted territory with grit, humour and a whole lot of heart.
The United States, California trip from San Diego. California. It was amazing. All the way up from San Diego.
Bucket list trip.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. All the way up from San Diego up to San Francisco, across to Lake Tahoe, down to Yosemite, through Death Valley, all the way back down then to Vegas, and then flew home. And obviously when we got there, we got to San Diego, and the drive up the Pacific Coast Highway, it was like, right, well, I want to try a Jack in the Box, I want to try a Wendy's, I want to try In-N-Out, I want to try a thing, and all this. And by the time we got to San Francisco, it felt like we had a hangover from the lack of nutrients and the lack of everything. And I just couldn't stomach any more.
Mate, always
of that processed rubbish.
I always feel like that when we go on holiday. Like depending where you go, or like when we drove down to France this year, you know, driving down, you're eating out, staying in hotels or Airbnbs, buying lunch, eating out at night, and by the time we got to the villa where we were staying, I was just thinking, I'm so looking forward to cooking some food, just some simple, plain, like bit of meat on the barbecue, salad, perfect.
Yeah.
Five Guys, mate, is another. Like, I love a Five Guys.
Good.
You know, Five Guys to me is what I think you think McDonald's should be like.
Yeah.
You know, the five. But my God, is it like I feel like a mummified pharaoh the day after. Like it's like I feel so dehydrated. From the salt content in Five Guys must be hectic.
Oh, ridiculous!
But it is nice.
Oh, it's the best. And speaking about that America trip, even having gone there and done the whole In-N-Out and everything, even there was a restaurant, Gordon Ramsay's burger joint called Burger, Bugr. Out of all of those, Five Guys is still the best, and that's UK Five Guys, you know. But it's funny, like, speaking about diet, and diet's a weird word, isn't it? But, you know, the older I get, the more and more I realise across the entire human landscape, whatever subject you want to talk about, it's all about the individual and what's relevant to that person. And I was listening to something recently about this test that you can do, which is called a methylation test. And if you don't know, which I didn't know until a few days ago, but I'll say it now as if I'm some kind of expert, methylation is basically whenever you take any kind of nutrient in your body, the body does not use that nutrient in its original format. It transports it into something else. So the example that I could give you is when we pull oil out of the ground, you can't put that directly into your car and use it as a fuel.
Refined.
It has to be turned into something else. And that's what the process of methylation is. And what you can do by having one of these methylation tests, and from what I've read, they're about £500 or £600 each or something like that. But you only have to do it once. And what you do is you find out where the positives and negatives are in your own specific methylation. Right. So it's like what macronutrients are you able to take in and, you know, get the most benefit from, and equally what are you just taking in and not methylating and just weeing out or whatever. And the thing that I was listening to was talking about how intrinsic that is to absolutely everything that you do, and there's all these different ways that you can kind of say, oh well, I'll do This is the Lost Man podcast, where we embrace the challenges and triumphs of being a modern man in the middle years. Join us as we explore the rugged path of growing older, wiser and bolder in a world that's constantly changing. I'm your host John.
And I'm Matt, and together we'll navigate this uncharted territory with grit, humour and a whole lot of heart.